AM morning show. I'm Avery Cooper. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. You'll find those streams online on the TaylorvilleDailyNews.com Facebook or on YouTube at WTIM TV. And it's the holiday season, and State Treasurer Michael Frericks loves to play Santa Claus and return lots of money to people who, well, it's rightfully theirs. Um, it's all about the spirit of giving back in the holiday season and also year round, of course, for State Treasurer Michael Frericks. Welcome back here, State Treasurer.
Hey, thanks for having me back. You're right. This is a special time of the year. I think most people look forward to the Christmas holidays, and in the state treasurer's office, we especially do because we have the ability to put more money into people's pockets. It's our Unclaimed Property Division, or ICASH. We encourage people to go check out our website at illinoistreasurer.gov, see if we have money that belongs to them, and consider spreading that holiday cheer.
And recently, you spread a little bit of holiday cheer, returning over $15,000 to a service, so Lutheran Social Services of Illinois. Tell me a little bit about this.
Correct. We love returning money to individuals. They can then use that money to buy gifts for their loved ones. But we know that there are some nonprofits out there that do the Lord's work year round. And this would be a great time of the year we search our databases to see if money is coming in for some of these charities. The Lutheran Social Services of Illinois is a great charity helping out a lot of children throughout the state of Illinois. So when we found that money had slipped through the cracks, come into our possession, we reached out to them and recently able to return that because we know they're going to do a lot of good with that this holiday season.
Fantastic. How does a nonprofit organization have money returned to them? I guess, how do they lose money and have it in state possession? How does that work? Because obviously there's a lot of different ways a person can lose money, but as you mentioned, organizations, it's not as common.
Exactly. It is more common than you think. Just like businesses, I think sometimes people think nonprofits, well, they don't make any money, but they use a lot of money. They bring in a lot through donations, and they pay people to help on their staff. They work with a lot of volunteers or people working for less pay than they get elsewhere. There's a lot of money circulating, and so they buy and sell services. So just like an individual, they might be entitled to a refund or an overpayment. A check may get mailed back. Oftentimes, people like to give money to charities, and they don't always do a great job of telling them about it. Sometimes people will list a charity in their will and don't tell them that money doesn't get to them. They use insurance providers, and maybe they are looking to cut costs and will switch insurance providers mid-year, and that money then is owed to them. Maybe they have an endowment that helps fund their organization, and they have dividend checks, and maybe those dividend checks got sent to the wrong address or were lost in the mail. Any number of reasons, but that company that was holding that money, who wrote that check that was never cashed, doesn't get to keep it. We fight to get it into the right person's or organization's hands.
Beg your pardon for stepping on you there, Treasurer, but I just, from your press release, some background on Lutheran Social Services of Illinois. It's one of the largest statewide social services providers. Organization provides critical programs for Illinois residents, including foster care, mental health services, alcohol and drug treatment, and other, including senior services, other stuff too. Largest, and the takeaway is the largest social service providers in Illinois, one of them anyway. And your returning of money just continues their mission.
It does, and they're a group that's especially worthy of support this year. I know Rich Miller at Capital Facts annually raises money for a toy drive for them because they help with foster children. I mean, these are kids who don't have stable homes or parents frequently, and Lutheran Social Services is trying to place them, trying to give them a brighter life. But around the holidays, sometimes kids just don't have people who are providing them gifts, and so we're hopeful that this extra money can help bring a lot more joy at Christmas time for a lot more children.
Earlier in this month, as part of bringing all that joy to people and returning all that money into rightful owners, you had your virtual auction, your holiday season virtual auction of unclaimed property, and the first full week of December, that is. How'd it go, Treasurer?
It went well. We have a lot of fun with our live auction at the State Fair, but we do that once a year. We do virtual auctions throughout the year. In addition to all this money we bring in physical property from people's abandoned safe deposit boxes. We love returning that as well, but sometimes it can be difficult and things pile up, literally pile up. There's only so long we can hold on to physical items before we run out of space. And so we'll have to auction them off after about 10 years of not being able to find the rightful owner. But that money doesn't belong to the state. It still belongs to the owners of the box. If 20 years, 30 years down the road, that individual or their dependents, their children, grandchildren come to claim the contents of that box, they won't get what was actually in there, but they will get the value that the items were sold for. So we like to encourage a lot of people to bid. We have a lot of treasures out there. And when that next one comes up, we'll talk about that and drive a few people and find them some hidden treasures.
Thinking the next one's going to be at the state fair?
I think we'll probably have one more virtual auction before then, but next August, you can put it on your books at the state fair. On the second Saturday, we always have our live unclaimed property auction. It is fun. Come out, see a bunch of different treasures, maybe bid on something of interest to you, and then spend the rest of the day enjoying the state fair.
Now, what were some of the things that you auctioned off successfully with the virtual auction that took place the first full week of December?
Well, we did. Sorry, I think there's been a bug running around that's been laying a lot of people low. Whether it's a common cold, or a flu, or COVID,
no kidding,
or that respiratory virus.
And I haven't been sick for like over 2 weeks, but I still have this like lingering like frog in my throat. Anyway, continue, Treasurer.
I've got that too, so I just want to excuse myself for the coughing.
Yeah.
Every auction, we find things like baseball cards or sports memorabilia. We find coins. We find jewelry. We find things like stamps. Whatever someone collects or people think are valuable, we have. So every time we have some interesting piece of jewelry, memorabilia. We had things from the Chicago 2 World's Fairs, Disney things, Michael Jordan collectibles. There's always something for someone in our auction, especially if you have a hard to shop for person. We will have lots of unique gifts.
How often do you recommend folks check out the database to see if they have unclaimed property?
Yeah, I run into people. That's a great question. I run into people all the time who say, "Oh, I already checked your database. You don't have anything." Well, we bring in unclaimed property twice a year. So if it's been longer than 6 months, I encourage people to check again. I've been treasurer now for 8 years. 3 times in those 8 years, I have found unclaimed property for myself. So it's not every 6 months, but we encourage you to check at your birthday and your half birthday. It doesn't take very long, and you never know what we've got for you. And I tell people to check because it belongs to you. It doesn't belong to me. It doesn't belong to the state. It's my job to get it back in the rightful owner's hands. And we've been doing a great job of that. We're turning over $1.5 billion to date, and we're looking forward to that $2 billion mark that we hope to cross soon.
It sounds like the start of a joke. The state treasurer has money returned to him from a state treasurer's program, but I don't know where the joke is in that. It just kind of sounds like the start of one. Anyway,
I can tell you one time it didn't get returned to me was I had put money into an online bank account a few years ago. There was a promotion around it. The catch was that it had to be just online. They didn't mail statements, so it was a lower cost count, and I signed up for it. Well, I had extra money. It was earning interest, so I didn't think about it. I didn't touch it. A lot of people do that.
Right.
But years go by, and I forget my password. I eventually call in, and they say, "Oh, sir, you've got to go to our website. You've got to download a form. You got to get notarized. You got to mail it into us." I said, "That's a lot of work." And the woman on the line said, "Sir, it may be a lot of work, but if you don't do this, we're going to turn this money over to your state treasurer. And that'll be a lot more work than we're asking of you." I said to her, "Go ahead, do that. Send it to the state treasurer." She said, "Sir, I don't think you understand. I don't think they're going to make a lot more hassle for you to collect from there." I said, No, I don't think you understand. I am the state treasurer. Please send me my money."
There's the joke. That's it right there.
There was a pause, and she said, "You go get my manager."
No kidding. When the state treasurer tells you, go ahead, send it to the state treasurer's office, I think you would want to get the manager.
In this case, it all goes to the same place.
Oh, well, in that case, it did anyway. Well, I want to talk more about some of the stuff that you're offering from the State Treasurer's office. That's State Treasurer Michael Frericks here on the WTIM Morning Show. Right here on WTIM, your information station.
WTIM. If you're looking for a local, full or part-time job in Central Illinois, there's an easy place to go to find current job openings. It's IllinoisJobPost.com. That's IllinoisJobPost.com. You'll find jobs available near you. And the best part is that it's free for candidates to access 24/7. If you want a local job, when you don't have to spend a lot of money on gas to get to, then you want access to IllinoisJobPost.com to check out current local job openings. That web address again is IllinoisJobPost.com. Another service from your friends at the Miller Media Group.
Here's Will Perkins.
Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Do you have your eye on a new boat or camper? At Taylorville Community Credit Union, we can help you with your new purchase. We offer low interest rates and generous payback periods. At TCCU, we pride ourselves in providing excellent service and personal attention. So, if you are looking to make a new purchase, give TCCU a chance to earn your business. We are conveniently located in Taylorville, Hillsboro, Litchfield, and Pana. You can also find us online at tccu.org. Come join us. You'll wonder why you waited. Member NCUA.
The Shelby County Economic Development Corporation aims to foster, promote, and stimulate economic development, from keeping existing industry and retail businesses successful and thriving to attracting new investment in Shelby County. The Shelby County Economic Development Corporation is here to help your business grow. It also sponsors job fairs to fill positions at existing employers and encourages future entrepreneurs in the Shelby County CEO program. Find out more on the Shelby County Economic Development Corporation by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
This is Becky Edwards, owner of B&G Administrative Services in Taylorville, your link to a better business day. I am proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the Miller Media Group B&G Administrative Services Business of the Month.
Harold Phillips came to Taylorville in March of 2022, taking over the Shelter Insurance Office on the southeast corner of the square. With a career and background in solving problems and customer service, Harold brings that experience to his present and new shelter insurance customers. As Harold has shared, it's his job to protect his customers on their best day and worst day. Stop by his office and welcome him to Taylorville and the square.
B&G Administrative Services congratulates this month's Business of the Month. Find out more on our services by going to bngadmin.com.
By leveraging sustainable carbon management solutions like Navigator CO2's Heartland Greenway, ethanol facilities can make substantial progress toward carbon reduction objectives. Learn more on how they're partnering with ethanol producers across the Corn Belt. Click their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
The Shelby County Economic Development Corporation aims to foster, promote, and stimulate economic development. They're here to help your business grow. Find out more on the Shelby County Economic Development Corporation by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
WTIM Morning Show. I'm Avery Cooper. People's Bank and Trust proud to bring you this stream on the TaylorvilleDailyNews.com, Facebook, and WTIM TV, YouTube. They put people first. And Landmark of Taylorville, you always do better with Landmark. It is the holiday season, and the State Treasurer's Office is in the business of giving. And I have the State Treasurer, Michael Frericks, on the phone. State Treasurer, you have, you have an idea for a gift this year. What do you think?
Well, I know that a lot of kids put together Christmas lists because my daughter does the same thing. But we all know that a lot of kids open those gifts, throw away the packaging, play with it for that day, and eventually gets discarded in a toy box and eventually thrown out. We think that a gift that will pay off and be used for a lifetime is a gift of education. In our office, we run 2 college savings programs. We think they're important for 2 reasons. One, because higher education is expensive, and kids can use that, whether it's used for a university, a community college, a trade school, a vocational program, or an apprenticeship. But also, studies have shown that if a young person knows they have a college savings account in their name, they are 3 times more likely to go to college. because it's sending a strong message to them that you think that they're smart, you think they're college material, and you believe in them and you're investing in them. And that message makes all the difference. So you can go to IllinoisTreasurer.gov, click on college savings, and put a young person on a pathway to success today. And you do that, let them know you did it and tell them why you did it. That'll make a difference in how they approach the school.
You know, State Senator Scott Bennett passed away recently, earlier this month, and he became he is a big sponsor of the bill that created the college savings program. I mean, and I know you knew him personally. What was his impact on creating more affordable college for people?
Well, what he did is Scott has a child with disabilities, and college savings college isn't for everyone out there, but every parent wants a brighter future for their kid. And for parents with children with disabilities, if those kids have severe enough disabilities that they qualify for federal benefits, those federal benefits are means tested. And what that means is they can only have $2,000 to their name, or they lose their benefits. This forces parents to leave their children in poverty, or they lose their benefits. And so what Scott did, he passed legislation creating another 529 savings account, just like the college savings, but for kids with disabilities, allowing parents to save more, give their kids a brighter future. It will be a tremendous legacy for my friend, Senator Bennett.
What did Senator Bennett mean to you, State Treasurer?
I was just at his memorial service yesterday and delivered the closing remarks. I said, in this business, in politics, you have a lot of friends. You have work friends, you have political friends, you have elected official friends. And the best type of friend you can have is one that doesn't need a modifier. It's just a friend. Before Scott was in politics, he was a friend. After he got to the state Senate, there was no need to clarify what type of friend he was. He was just a friend. And, you expect a friend to return your calls. You expect a friend to listen to you. And when Scott called me about this ABLE bill he had in mind, I said, that's a great idea, Scott. I'd love to work on that. However, I just got elected, and I'm already setting up one new program to help millions of people save for their retirement. I've got changes I want to make in unclaimed property to bring it into the modern era. I've got 2 college savings programs I want to overhaul and make some of the best in the country. And I said, I don't know if I have the time or the bandwidth to deal with that this year, so maybe we can deal with it next year. And my friend said, okay, I think I'm going to file it anyway. File the bill. And as I told people yesterday, a good friend knows their friend. And they also know what their capacities are, knows what their abilities are. And Scott also knew that a lot of parents out there didn't want to wait another year to start helping their kids. And so he filed it, and we got on board, and turns out we did have the capacity. It was more work, but it was work that was well worth it, because there are now tens of thousands of families putting aside money to give their children with special needs a special future. And that will be a really strong legacy for Senator Bennett.
I love the way that it seemed like he knew that you were all on board with it, and you just were a little bit overwhelmed. So he took charge. And
yeah, he needed to push me. And he needed to say that, hey, it's fine. If you're overwhelmed, I'll carry the load for you.
Yeah, and that's what a good friend does. Treasurer Frericks, anything else that you'd like to say before you go here today?
No, I think there are probably a lot of people in Christian County who maybe not had a chance to run into Senator Bennett. Everybody's seen some things on the news lately. He was a great guy. He grew up in Ford County in Gibson City. He was the chair of Agriculture and Conservation Committee, chair of Higher Education Committee. Just had a lot of good things said about him after his passing. But I think the best thing you can say about someone is that they were a dear friend. And I think there's one quote from the noted philosopher Winnie the Pooh that was given yesterday that says, how lucky I am to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard. And that seems to apply to Scott.
State Treasurer Frericks, thank you.
Hey, thank you.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville, 96.1 W241 CF Taylorville, 107.5 W298 CD Shelbyville, 107.9 W300 EH Payne and Nokomis.
News this hour from townhall.com.